We're currently negotiating. We've toured and talked to a greenhouse that does tomatoes, hydroponic tomatoes. They've been through the site, went to PEI Power Park to show the PEI, and that really wasn't a suitable site. They went down to Carbon County and looked at a coal-fired plant to see if they could put 40 acres of greenhouse there. That wasn't acceptable either. And what they've done is they've talked to Invenergy, and right now it's on the top of their list, and it's their most close prospect of actually coming in. When you see 30 jobs, you say that's really not a lot. You know, we're giving up a lot, or there's a lot of risk associated with it. I think the companies do good in presenting what's the pros and cons, but it's the rippling effects. The $1 million annually, all the people will be helping maintain the project and the plant will help. The local people will probably be about 50 to 75% of the people that they hire local. They usually hire veterans because of the military training and this type of business. So that's good for a veteran. It's not a lot, but it's a family-sustained wage. It's over $3 million per year in payroll. The hydroponic company, they're saying they want to start with 10 acres under glass, but over 5 years, they expect to have at least 130 jobs on site. So we see rippling effects. It makes this whole track much more palatable, makes it much more attractive, and will help bring in businesses. When PEI did their power plant in PEI Power Park, their whole premise was that we're going to give away really cheap electricity, so everyone's going to come is going to create a lot of jobs. That didn't happen because of regulations. They had to still go through the current electric company for distribution. So you didn't see the full conversation, but there is promise here.
Thank you.
I just want to remind you to be respectful of the speakers, please. So, next individual would be Carolyn Mizanley.
Thank you very much. I wanted to thank the community for being here tonight. All right. My questions are going to concern this gas plant and fracking. It's an obvious statement to say that this gas plant has a direct and proportional relationship to the fracking industry. But here we are dealing with some of the consequences of extracting natural gas. I keep hearing from the panel that we all should have complete confidence in the DEP. The best technology is available, and that's the common theme I hear tonight. I wanted to let the people know that Pennsylvania still has declined to launch a comprehensive program to determine the impacts on public health concerning fracking. And also, the companies that do frack do not have to release their chemicals. They do not have to tell you what's in the water. It's called trade secrets, and it's considered proprietary information. Currently, doctors must sign a non-disclosure form, a non-disclosure agreement, to find out about what chemicals a person has been exposed to. I don't know if you've been reading this, but currently there is a doctor who is trying to find out what the chemicals are, and actually the state doesn't have a form and the drillers don't have a form. So my question is, why should we have so much confidence in the DEP protecting us when we see all this evidence about doctors not being able to tell you what you've been exposed to, and then they can't find the disclosure form? So can someone answer that question? And that's 3 big points that this entire audience has to know about. Because if you go on to state impact, you will see thousands of fracking wells. And each fracking well has 4 million gallons of water, 5 million gallons, 100 ton of chemicals. And there's plenty of people who are coming forward talking about their health issues. There's plenty of people in this community who have health issues that need to be protected. And someone has to have the courage to stand up here and talk about it. Someone please address the non-disclosure agreement.
We're just talking about the fracking and DEP, and I appreciate that testimony, and I stand with you. And I think a huge example of that was this last election and why we elected Governor Tom Wolf, and we have to keep in mind that we have a new administration now. So we have a new and I brought these questions to Governor Wolf and John Hanger. I had a round table with Governor Wolf and John Hanger, and I mentioned that to him. I said, listen, we have to, the first thing we have to do here in the state of Pennsylvania is get back the confidence in DEP. We have to bring back that confidence because they were highly underfunded under the last administration. But I mean, we can't even compare today to a year ago because we're under a new administration and there's going to be different funding for DEP, and they will be, you know, they staffed at a higher level now.
And I do appreciate that, but I have to let the people know. You have to look at the consequences of what we are dealing with right now, and just click onto state impact and say fracked wells, and you will be disheartened if you don't have an opportunity to drive up there.
I've had the opportunity to tour the rings. So.
Okay, I'm just saying, please go on and just check it out because I think we're having a big, you know, the wolf pulled over. Okay, one more question, please. California is facing one of the most severe droughts on record. Water is described as a new liquid gold. A recent United Nations report warns that the world can suffer a 40% water shortfall by 2030. All right, one more about the water crisis. If the world water shortage that is forecasted juxtaposed with the enormous amount of fresh water that the natural gas industry consumes and poisons on a daily basis, this is outrageous and unacceptable. My last question: what chemicals are going? Okay. What chemicals are going back into that 600,000 gallons of water? What are we being faced with?
We have about 30 more speakers.
Somebody going to answer that?
Did anybody answer a question?
We didn't get an answer. What was the question?
Answer her question. What's going back?
What's in the water?
600,000 gallons of water that's being released on a daily basis. I think these people have a right to know what is in that water.
Wait, what about the experts? What about the girl?
Bernie McGirl.
I think that there are known quantities of chemicals that are in fracking materials. Each one is different. They're generally known, and they have certain characteristics and properties that are known. While the specifics of any given proprietary compound might be quote-unquote private, the constituencies are generally known. So I mean, it has to be removed from water. It can't.
What are they?
Please let me speak.
I'm not an expert on fracking fluids. Okay, but I can tell you that that material has to be separated from the water. I mean, when it comes back up, the gas companies that are drilling have to handle it as a waste material. It is not going back into the water table. And the wells have to be cased to keep this material out. It is not, fracking material generally is not going into your drinking water.
But it's going into our creek.
It's not generally, I mean, we'd all be
Our
dead
fishing creek.
if that was the case.
Our
So
river.
it's not going into drinking water. It is handled as a waste material. What I would like to see is a great deal more manifesting on all of the fracking material. I think the companies need to publish what's in any individual compound that they're using, and it has to be manifested. So when it comes from a manufacturer, there's a bill of goods. How many pounds, how many gallons of this, that, and the other thing are in a given shipment. All that material that then is transported to the well site and used for fracking needs to be accounted for in a manifest for a waste manifest, and it has to be indicated where it is going and how it is going to be treated as a waste product. And right now, that's not entirely the case. So I think that's one of the areas where our legislature needs to increase the requirements for manifesting on that material. But right now, I think most of it is handled in as responsible a way as it can be by the variety of companies that are involved in the drilling business. But we're here tonight looking at Jessup, and I'd like to get back to hearing more questions that are specific to what's going on here at Jessup.
We have 30 speakers, so I'm just trying to keep it going as best I can.
I just want everybody to know we're not a bunch of cold crackers here. We worked hard. Our ancestors worked hard to get where we are.
My grandfather died from black lung.
Well, then you
Are you really going to fight?
You were wrong. Another thing, are any of you people live within 1 mile of any of these plants? And you're talking about jobs. Somebody just said we're getting 30 jobs. Jessup doesn't need 30 jobs. What Jessup needs is industry. That's right. People that can go and work by the hundreds, not 30 jobs. What's wrong with you people? Normal. We are being bullied. As far as I'm concerned, listening to UGI and this other gas company that's coming in.
Getting bright.
Yeah. Are all these people, are all these gas companies, is this a done deal? Did everybody say this is it? Go ahead, you got it, go and start drilling up there. I don't understand where people are coming from. We, the people of Jessup, do not want this here.
Go, girl.
Let him respond, Frank. Let him respond.
Well, no, first I just want to address the first comment that you made, because I appreciate that. And that
Let him talk.
if you read the whole statement rather than just my grandfather died from black lung.
So did mine.
He lost parts of both of his hands.
So did my father.
My wife's grandfather died from black lung. But what I said in there is that's how we're perceived. That's not how I feel, but that's how we're perceived. And that is how we are perceived. Amongst my colleagues in Harrisburg, we are perceived as a coal cracker mentality. I don't appreciate that. That's why I put that up there. Because we will not work for less. And that's the whole thing as far as bringing in high-paying jobs. Because I will not stand for that.
30 jobs.
I will not, but it's still high-paying jobs, and I will not stand for someone else saying that we have a coal cracker mentality.
What's the wage on those jobs, Frank?
It's a $3.5 million payroll.
I want to see the individual breakdown.
If you look on my fact sheet that I provided to everybody, I sat with Invenergy and I asked them. I said, "Can you assure me?" I said, "In your other facilities, how many do you hire local?" And they hire 90% local.
But that's not how How many people are going to be there on site? How many people are going to be there on site to work every day and pull down a job and a paycheck every day?
30.
How many? 30.
What's 30?
What is that?
And 30. With the opportunity, like Mr. Kelly said, you said we need to bring other jobs here. It just doesn't magically appear that we bring in 150 jobs. We start with this, that brings in 30. Then we bring in another industry, which brings 150.
What about the 12 companies that you said were about to come in?
Put the landfill up there. Yeah. Always looking to expand.
And I agree with you. And that's why I said in my statement that this is a site-specific project.
Sorry, that was an
We had
accident when
talked
she was
about
walking by.
I just didn't want
We
to
didn't mean to
KOZ was
do
out, they
it.
picked up and moved out.
You know.
You're right, it's a site-specific project though, and they won't pick up and move out when it's all said and done.
So I'll just correct it. Yeah, I mean, one of the questions you had was about UGI. Is this a done deal? No, I mean, we've said all along that this is a process where we, right now we're going through a process with a zoning amendment. After that, there's a conditional use process where we'll complete a conditional use application, and that will be reviewed. It's not a done deal. We have signed a deal with UGI, which allows them to begin planning and engineering and permitting on their part. But that's a common practice in development, is that you have many different things that operate in parallel, and you have conditions precedent in your agreement that allow you to cancel at any time if the project does not go through.
There, Mark Triani. John Adley.
He's for the union.
Hi, my name is John Adley. I was born and raised in Jessup. I lived in this area my whole life. Frank, I'd like to thank you for taking the hard stance, not the popular stance. And whoever said, I wish I was a union guy. I wish I was making union money. I'm up at that plant, one of the plants up there, making $10 an hour. I'm trying to raise 2 kids. You guys try that on $10 an hour.
I did.
Well, then you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year?
Come on. Come on.
It's for Invenergy. Are you going to be hiring people with high school educations, or what's your criteria up there? Are you going to have a training program for local residents?
That's a good question.
That's fair.
So,
Yes.
much has been said about the 30 jobs. You've all heard that number. That's what we plan on staffing. Of our 30 jobs, I think 3 or 4 of them require an actual engineering degree. The rest of them, a high school education is adequate. We look for people who do have industry experience, but we also train people as well. Last week we met with Lackawanna College. They have a new program that they're training people to participate and be employed in the gas and petroleum industry. And we talked to them about reaching out to some of their students, and we think that they have a nice 2-year program that would train people to work in our industry. So we do look forward to hiring locally. That's always our preference. I've said it in other meetings, and I honestly mean that. We have a preference to hire locally. That's our objective. And yeah, you wouldn't have to have a college degree to work in our place.
Thank you.